I'm Will Anderson. Welcome to Gruen. We'll get to our panel in a moment. But first, why all of a sudden are taxi ads so horny?
I gotta go.
It's the official app of the booty call? I thought that was Grindr. I guess it makes sense. The entire taxi industry just got screwed by Uber. Here's my question, 13 Cabs. If you're the official app of the one-night taxi stand, then why does that taxi door spell IBS? That's irritable bowel syndrome. Is that what you meant by booty call? This campaign is to me what a GPS is to a taxi driver. Impossible to follow. Like, what's going on with this couple?
I gotta go.
Where are you going?
Something's come up.
I think I know what came up. His penis. And she looks thrilled. And who is sexting this guy? An eggplant, a winky face, and a 13 Cabs emoji. Who's sending that? Unless it's... Oh, my God. The cabs themselves are the ones doing the booty calls. It makes sense. They're desperate to pick up. But be careful. That's how you get 13 crabs. But the least sexy part of the campaign has to be this slogan. We'll get you there. Surely that's the minimum requirement of a taxi company. Come on, 13 Cabs. You can do better than that. How about 13 Cabs will give you a route? Or 13 Cabs, gonna catch something? Catch a cab. Or even 13 Cabs. Oh, God, we're coming. In fact, one of 13 Cabs' other campaigns already had a sexier slogan. For a quick ride, hail 13 Cab. 5 stars. Time to welcome our panel, Todd Sampson, and from BMF, Christina Aventi. Welcome. Joining them from Campaign Edge, Dee Madigan, and from PwC, Russell Howcroft. Welcome. The first recorded food delivery was a pizza. It was in 1889 in Italy, and this is true, it was delivered to Queen Margherita, who I assume was married to King Barbecue Meat Lovers. Since that auspicious day, pizza advertising has stayed basically the same. There's the disgusting ladle sauce manoeuvre, the sticky cheese pull, and people opening a box like it's a suitcase in a Tarantino film. Now Domino's has taken the next step into the cheesy frontier with this.
You can't beat perfect pizza. Dom Pizza Checker quality checks your order, then shows you a photo before it's boxed, so you'll never worry about poorly made pizza again. Test us with any large from $15 delivered at Domino's.
I think that guy's crying because he just sobered up and remembered he ordered Domino's. Oh, and if 13 Cabs is watching, Domino's also has a better slogan for a booty call. I'm interested in this line.
So you'll never worry about poorly made pizza again.
Exciting. You'll never have to worry about poorly made, gross pizza again. Tell you, why would Domino's admit its pizza is usually shit?
Because Domino's knows that customers, in a world of increasingly cynical consumers who doubt corporations, they know that brand honesty is valued higher even than brand quality or brand innovation. And they know the way to get customers to brand loyalty, which is kind of the holy grail of marketing, you have to win at brand honesty. Now, this is a company that once hired a billboard on Times Square and they put up live reviews of customers. even all the shit ones. And it actually worked a treat.
Here's the weird thing. Domino's doesn't think of itself as a pizza company. It thinks of itself as a tech company which happens to make pizza. Right, that makes sense. Google's pizza is also terrible. Domino's marketing is like being inside a JB Hi-Fi or your dad's Amazon wish list. Pizzas are delivered by drone and robot. Congratulations, you made a microwave on wheels. Here's a crazy fact. That Domino's robot was devised by a company that also makes shooting targets for the US military. Now this technology is being repurposed to analyse pizza toppings and it sees everything.
Pizza Checker is an electronic eye that will soon be above every Domino's cutting bench in the country.
Cool, that's terrifying. Christina, do customers want margaritas or Minority Report?
Both. Call it the margarita report if you like. The thing about Domino's is they're definitely putting a line in the sand in terms of where they're heading, OK? They're almost gamifying the experience of ordering and delivering and almost distracting you from the pizza because it's not that great. They're actually taking the conversation to somewhere else, and that's about convenience. I think what's also really interesting is they are playing this game of uber convenience. So you can order with an emoji, which given that like peak ordering time can also be between 12 and 2 a.m, that's kind of handy. They've also got this zero-click ordering, right? So if you have the app open for 10 seconds, it will automatically order your favourite order. So be careful of butt ordering instead of butt dialing.
These guys are maybe the best marketer for the 21st century. They've actually realised how you get growth in this century through technology. And you improve the customer experience via the wonders of technology. And it's true when they say they want to be a technology company. That's actually the reality because they know it's the technology that's going to create the difference. And that's why it's a business that's grown so insanely. Uber doesn't really save you any more time than a taxi. It's just the fact that I can watch it coming, right? So it's the use of technology that actually improves the customer experience.
I think some of the stunts, some of the technology things are stunts because they have a franchised model. And they have a franchise model because they make more money doing that model. It lowers their costs. So they have a franchise, so they don't have consistency across. It's very difficult for them to have some kind of quality audit. I mean, they literally they stick a machine above that will audit the workers and the quality of their work, but brand it as a consumer thing.
Domino's claims Dom is about improving customer satisfaction, but its most commonly tweeted phrase is, sorry to hear. Social media is still full of photos of bad pizza, but now customers are blaming the robot. Is Dom is bad? Todd, is Dom just a scapegoat?
I mean, saying sorry without actually admitting fault is not an easy task. And people sit around in rooms trying to figure that out. And their version of that, which if you think about is relatively clever, is they say, we're sorry for hearing, not we're sorry for. And I think that they are deflecting a little bit. And whether it's on a robot or not, their strategy has always been admission, but they don't want to admit too much.
You know, many years ago, I was at a government department, a meeting with a government department, and the complaints department was complaining about getting complaints, which...
Who did they call?
Yeah, right. It likes complaints. It wants people to say that pizza that I got at that particular point in time wasn't right, so that it can then use it for a sense of it's about culture, it's about continuous improvement, it's about not having a complaints department that complains about complaints. It's about the opposite of that. And that, again, is why they're such a brilliant marketer.
I'm not saying that they're forcing complaints so they could build up a massive database globally so they could easily market at a low cost, but that's possible.
You know what I love about that the most is, even if that's not true, there's someone from Domino's going, write that down. It's a very good idea. The Domino's dots represent the number of stores they started with back in the 60s. Yep, 3. The Australian arm of the business alone now owns over 2,000 locations. Its old rival Pizza Hut was once Australia's market leader and all about in-store dining.
Sit down by candlelight when you be able to have your own private table. Good food in a friendly place, a waitress with a smiling face.
Aw, the past is so sad. Now Pizza Hut has just 12 restaurants and 2 concept diners. Weird concept too, leaving the house to eat. As a tech company, Domino's understands the power of search engines. If you Google the word pizza, you get Domino's. If you Bing the word pizza, you get Domino's. If you Google Pizza Hut, you'll still get Domino's. And if you Bing Pizza Hut, we don't know what happens. No one has ever done that. But Pizza Hut has one weapon that Domino's will never have.
You have a table close to the window, near the salad bar. Dougie!
Dougie the pizza boy was so successful, Pizza Hut revived him in 2002.
Congratulations, Dougie.
And again this year.
Go, mate.
Dougie.
Still hot?
Still hot, Dougie.
Jury's out, Dougie. That Dot is dreaming of one day being successful enough to get on a Domino's box. Russell, is Pizza Hut trading on nostalgia like reheating old pizza?
Maybe, but what an opportunity for Pizza Hut. So if you think about the Pizza Hut brand and what it meant to Middle Australia, even those, the architecture of those amazing shops that they had, the shop front. And we think about what Kentucky Fried's doing, bringing back Kentucky Fried Chicken, bringing back the Colonel. And then you even think about McDonald's, I don't know, 20 years ago when the burger was still coming in a polystyrene shell. So the opportunity to recreate these brands, reinvest in them and just, ignite that nostalgia, I think it's there. If someone said you want to go and work on Pizza Hut, you've got to have some money. You want to have quite a lot of million behind you. You could really do something, I think, really interesting, exciting, evoke a sense of nostalgia. It does also need Dougie.
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it need Dougie?
It does need Dougie. Because in the end, you've got an asset there in him. It's an advertising asset. And I think he is an opportunity. Maybe you end up having a robot called Dougie, but you do need to have... you got to have Dougie.
And we've moved on to, Crust and Gozleme and Banh Mi. And I think their ads should move on too. Gen Xers don't want to see an aging version of themselves on TV just yet.
Yes, the ads have to move on.
Yeah.
They absolutely have to move on because, it's not looking that cool. But it doesn't mean that they can't make it cool. I'm sure they can.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, you know what our new strategy is? Trick people into eating our pizza.
yeah. That'll work.
Pizza was once a delivery staple, but now Menulog, Deliveroo and Uber Eats have moved in on the territory. Uber Eats has no need for Dougie because its latest campaign has a better cast than The Masked Singer. Hamish, Andy, Leighton Hewitt, Rebel Wilson, Ruby Rose, Lee Lin Chin, Ray Martin, Ray Martin's Dignity, and this big new ad.
One check, Barnsey. Tonight, I'll be eating a Big Mac meal and an Oreo McFlurry. Mic check, Barnsey.
Tonight, I'll be eating the beef pho with rice paper rolls and a peach iced tea. Mic check, Barnsey.
Guys, I'm not actually a musician.
But we're Barnsey, Farnsey and Arnsey.
Thank you very much. They actually call me the voice.
No, they don't.
This is bullshit. Aren't Doe's making ads now? This is a brush with betrayal. All right then, Arn, I've done a portrait of how that makes me feel. And Barnsey, Farnsey and Arnsey? Come on, I would have gone with Dougie, Dougie and Dougie. Pizzas cost as little as $3. The average Uber Eats order is $36.50. Christina, are Barnsey, Farnsey and Arnsey just a way to get customers to spend more?
Oh, yeah, totally. And it's not just the working class man, obviously. They're covering every sort of demographic and cohort in there, which I think is really interesting.
Ads have nothing to do with delivery. Those ads have to do with acceptance. Acceptance, localizing of a very globally dominant American company that wants to place itself somehow in Australian culture.
Also awesome to see an advertiser doing advertising 101 that we know absolutely works, get famous people in your ads. Yeah? And actually the famous people agreeing to be in the ads. It doesn't happen that often in Australia. It happens a lot in other markets. It's quite rare here. And you can see, of course, it's going to work. People are going to watch that commercial, they're going to enjoy that commercial, and they're going to get on the phone and start ordering Uber. It's 101 stuff, but it is really powerful.
Yeah, they asked me if I'd be interested in doing it, and I said only with Russell. And I'm waiting for the phone call.
I'm fully up for it. You're up for it? Yeah, Christ, yeah. Come on.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As soon as the ABC cancels this, we can all be in the...
Great.
My biggest problem with the Arnsey, Farnsey and Barnsey, they stole my idea for a band. Ando, Ando and Arando. We were going to eat Nando's. And they also stole this idea.
Is he lip syncing?
Me? Nah. Delicious.
Being out of sync is my thing. You better watch your back, Ando. And now the pitch, the segment where we deliver hot ads to you in 30 minutes or they're free. Just kidding, it's the ABC, you've already paid for it. This week, we've ditched the agencies and challenged the Young Bloods, an industry initiative for under 30s. And we couldn't get them to pay attention to the brief unless it was about social media. Is it vital to go viral, or are some things better off not shared? Please welcome from Young Bloods New South Wales, Isabella Rigg, and from Young Bloods Victoria, Olivia Gatt. Welcome. Isabella, how did you persuade us to share nothing online?
Well, no one wants to be reminded of all the stupid things they've shared or done, but the problem is once it's online, there's no getting it back.
Let's have a look.
We have a shout.
I know what you tweeted last summer.
Did you just feel that?
What is that?
I didn't put it on.
Why did you make that? What? It's not funny.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that. I didn't get that. You're turning it up.
I don't mean to be.
I'm trying.
This whole thing's not funny.
I'm not doing it. Okay. I'm trying.
Olivia, how did you convince us to share everything online?
Well, we wanted to focus on the fact that sharing everything online can lead to pretty great rewards.
Let's have a look.
Aussies. We love having a crack no matter the odds. It's in our nature to give it a go, whatever it may be, because you never know what might just pay off. Well, Australia, welcome to the biggest lottery of them all, the internet. Take this guy, for example. He did a little sprinkle, rich. Or this guy, boom, never has to work again. And the best part is, it's completely free. So don't hold back. The more you share, the more chances you have. The internet. You gotta be in it to win it.
Todd, you first this week. Which did you prefer?
I like them both well done, but I'm going to bring the first one home to my young bloods, also known as my two daughters, to show them that ad. One.
All right, Christina?
I had exactly that same line. I want to take that home to my kids who, both great though.
Dee, what about you?
I'm going with Victoria on that. I love the idea that, you know, you can get lots of money by going online. My 14-year-old keeps telling me that, so I'm going with number 2 there.
Russell?
Well, the truth is always really powerful, so the first one, truth well told. However, the second one, if you've got to be in it to win it, that's the winner for me.
I mean, I think that means it's a tie, which means we have a trophy that splits in half. So, congratulations to both of you. February this year, newspapers around the country were covered in stories about Australia's worst serial killer. And then there was this.
I've been part of investigative teams that have put away some of Australia's most infamous serial killers, but I had no idea that Australia's most prolific killer was stalking me. I was lucky to survive the attack, but so many others haven't. This perpetrator remains on the loose. We have to do more to stop this reign of terror.
Christina, what do you think of that ad?
I really like this. I think it does a great job of reframing a heart disease. I think, you know, you've got so much competition in your mind for all the diseases out there and you know, particularly cancer's top of mind. Every time you get a niggle, I'm like, oh my God, is this cancer? Is this cancer? So heart disease has really got a challenge in terms of cutting through all of that. And I find that really interesting because whereas the other sort of health messages live in, you know, kind of, you know, body and soul and those sort of more serious sort of environments, this is taking it to a totally new place, a totally new environment that is kind of clutter-free. And so you process it differently and you get sort of more of a share of attention in and around heart disease. So I think it does a great job of breaking that complacency.
Because we know that facts don't change people, but we know that surprise is the bit that sort of hooks you in that one.
It's interesting from an executional point of view. I know it's a small point, but it is interesting that they chose not to go down the barrel with his piece to camera. That I don't know, it perhaps would have been a bit more effective. I know they were staying within the genre, but it may have felt a bit more effective if he would have maybe just gone down the barrel like he was delivering it like a crime report.
The campaign had a big impact. 800,000 people checked the online heart age calculator, and it prompted the federal government to introduce a Medicare-funded heart health check. Galvanised by all this momentum, the Heart Foundation followed up with another big ad. It was pulled within a week. Let's see why.
Every time I told you I loved you, I was lying. You are not my priority.
If I really loved you both, I'd protect my heart to protect yours, but I don't.
Because it's not just my heart I don't care about. It's yours.
Dee, was the Heart Foundation right to pull that ad?
I cannot imagine what a child who had lost someone to heart disease and seen that ad would have felt, but...
I think they pulled the ad. I think they should have pulled the ad. And I think they pulled the ad not because people didn't like the ad. They pulled it because people were not going to like them. You may intend something, and I'm sure their intent was good, but the impact was bad. I was in a research group doing an anti-meth campaign, an anti-drug campaign, and we were in the agency and we were showing graphic images of people scratching themselves. And then it was within 20 minutes and the alarm went off. We were evacuated from the building. I came back upstairs, got back in the group again, and one of the people in the group said they were meth users. And he said that the ad was so graphic, what we showed them, that I went to the toilet and did meth. I think in the case of this ad, they provoked a very sad response, an unnecessary response. It needs to go into research.
And so road safety, so Transport for New South Wales tests its communications with roadside victims, OK? It does that. It's their torture test to ensure something like this doesn't get out. And I totally agree with Dee that, I mean, it's convenient in hindsight to look at that, and with good judgment you would think, you know what, this is going to hurt victims out there who've, you know, lost parents. And parents are feeling enough guilt. You don't need to add any more guilt to their lives in terms of sort of almost naming and shaming them for not sort of taking better care of their health.
And look, the Heart Foundation, the hurdle they've got to jump is complacency. So you've got 18,000 deaths a year. And I was very surprised to read that the majority of those are preventable. So you've just got to get through that complacency hurdle. And shock is the way that people often, it's what they will often use. You can see how you can get down this path. I accept everything you're saying, Dee, but equally we know what happens in those boardrooms. We know what happens in the creation of advertising when you're just desperately trying to actually achieve something.
This sort of advertising is not entirely unfamiliar. We've seen it in smoking ads.
If this is how your child feels after losing you for a minute, just imagine if they lost you for life.
A few years ago in the UK, the British Heart Foundation pulled a similar trigger.
I can't come home tonight.
But what about football?
I'm not going to be around anymore, so...
When you coming back?
I'm sorry.
I don't understand that.
You look after your mum.
Dad.
Bye, Ben.
Dad.
Ben? Can you come with me, please?
Todd, why does that approach feel less heartless?
Because it's better.
It's true, though. Like, you genuinely worry about leaving your kids behind, whereas the other one says you're leaving them behind because you don't love them, which is not true. So, I mean, it's a really basic truth and not truth.
Yeah, I think that is clearly the trick to behaviour change in this sector. And it maybe is no more complicated than it just has to be a believable story. And it just may be as simple as that.
So you need to treat it not with a sledgehammer, but with sensitivity. I agree with the false logic that you can still love your kids but not love yourself and take action. That's true. And I think that they completely missed that obvious point.
Because in the end, heartless is trying to be the idea.
And also, doesn't it just every once in a while remind you that advertising can do good?
Yeah.
You know, like it's possible to...
Russell Brand.
Well, of course.
Yes. What are you talking about?
Doesn't believe it can do bad.
Every ad reminds me of that. My dad has heart disease, and I said to him, "You've got to reform your diet." And he said, no, it's because I don't love you. It's weird. See, in the office they said I couldn't make this topic funny, but I have.